What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special episode of the Burnout Brighter podcast. This is going to be our Summer Game Fest Kickoff live post-show. So we just saw about an hour and 45 minutes of new games hosted by Jeff Keighley, kind of under the Summer Game Fest banner. This is their first major event, and what an event it was. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful and lovely co-hosts, Darren and Destiny, and we're going to get right into it. Darren, I'm going to throw to you first. What did you think of Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live, the first major event we had?
It was fine. Yeah, it was good. I had a good time watching it. I think it was a good time. I'm not going to say it was like the best thing ever, but they had fun. I'll say the most impressive thing to me in the whole press conference is that they somehow made celebrity appearances not cringy. I don't think there was a single cringy celebrity appearance, and that's unusual for these kinds of events.
Yeah, especially with E3 and Summer Game Fest stuff. E3 is notorious for bringing celebrities in really, really weird ways, but I think you're right. I think it actually felt pretty organic given how it went. Destiny, what about you? What were some of your overall thoughts of the conference?
I think they did a really good job. Technically, the graphics in the background, just the whole setup seemed very clean and well put together. And the same thing that Darren said, it wasn't cringeworthy when they brought on the different guests, but I think it's because those guests came on to specifically speak about their games. And that was the main focus. It wasn't hey, look, it's Jeff Goldblum
doing nothing. Just cause.
Doing nothing. He's just here. He's not even talking about the game. We just want his face there. So no, I thought it was absolutely amazing. Also, Jeff Goldblum is daddy. He is a national treasure. So I was pretty excited to see him. The only thing I think I could have done without, which sounds really shitty, is the musical performances.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that was necessary, but I am glad they put those in there, and this is going to sound bad. So please, musical people, I think you did an amazing job, but it allowed me to go take pee breaks, so I didn't miss any of the game announcements. So yeah.
Yeah, I think overall the conference was fine. It didn't blow me away, but I also don't regret watching it kind of thing. I thought it was good, but not great. The thing that impresses me continuing with Jeff is that his pacing gets better and better every year. I think that's the most impressive thing about this one. There were certain moments where I was going to be like, okay, I'm starting to get sick of watching this segment. And then it would end immediately as I started to feel that way. So even though not all of the announcements and everything we saw, not all of it was for me, but I thought that the way that they handled everything worked pretty well. And so I thought it was a solid show. And the thing that I appreciated, Destiny, because I'm with you, usually these kind of musical breakouts in these things kind of feel weird, but what I did appreciate about it this time was that both of them were used because of specific games. Even the Weezer performance, which I don't really care for Weezer, was tying into a game that was being shown, so I can appreciate at least that level. They at least went that far to make them tie into it. But I'm the same way as you, D. When certain musical performances come on, I'm kind of all right, okay, give me a second to catch up on my notes or whatever here, because not that they did a bad job. It's just I feel like those moments kind of throw the pacing off a little bit, in my opinion. But we saw a whole bunch of stuff, and we're not going to be talking about everything. We're just going to be talking about some of our personal highlights. So why don't we get into it? But Darren, you wanted to talk about some of your weirder / funnier moments. What are some of the kind of, before we get into the game specifically, some of your favorite parts of the thing?
Yeah, they definitely threw us for a loop on a couple of things. One of them being a Nier Automata costume for Fall Guys. I was not expecting that. I was like, cool, all right, I guess, whatever. Overwatch 2, I guess the 2 in Overwatch stands for 2 costumes, because that's all they showed us.
He was yeah, he's here, he's going to show a few skins, and he was yeah, so there's this one, and there's this one, and that's it. Yeah. I was okay, probably should have said a couple of costumes.
and I know, Matt, you were also flabbergasted like I was when all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, we got the Philharmonic Orchestra here, and they're coming to play you the music from Sonic Unleashed. Out of every single game they could have picked, why Sonic Unleashed? I don't understand.
There's so much fantastic music in the Sonic games. I just found it funny because I've never heard anything but negative things about Unleashed. And as you told me after, Darren, that apparently like a lot of people did like the Sonic side of things. It's just the werehog material is weird. But like that's why I was caught off guard because like it has so much awesome music, but like whatever. Yeah, but I thought the performance itself was awesome. Like the music did sound really, really good. I just was caught off guard that it was Sonic Unleashed that they went with. But I mean, whatever. It sounded great, so I didn't mind too much.
And
But
that's
go
the
ahead.
beauty of what I think makes Summer Games Fest special. That gives it an advantage over the other regular, company centric presentations. Is that with Summer Games Fest, at the very least, it's such a diverse set of companies all coming together that you literally
Yeah.
cannot predict what's going to happen next because it could be anything. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the other funny moments that kind of had us all laughing, and as we kind of transition over here, but Destiny, we saw a little bit of some Death Stranding footage, and it was pretty entertaining because Jeff had Kojima on, and they talked a lot about how COVID has impacted development. But then we got a little bit of Death Stranding footage.
The
Why were we
director's
laughing?
cut. The
Yeah,
director's cut.
the Kojima cut.
Because it was really weird at first, right? Like you see him go in and he's like in a warehouse, and like we all noticed the box because there was a lot of foreshadowing with this gigantic box that was sitting on a shelf, and I was like, oh my god, this is like, what is it like, guys?
Yeah,
Metal Gear Solid.
It's like Metal Gear Solid meets Death Stranding. And he literally fucking like gets the box. He empties it, which is weird because there's like only 7 oranges that come out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. And then he like puts it on the ground and we're all like, he's going to get in the box. He's going to get in the box. He gets in the box. But like not to cover himself, he just gets in the box. I guess to check and make sure he could fit inside of it.
Yeah, he's tired.
If I fit, I sit.
Then he gets out of the box, looks at it, and puts it back. But he doesn't pick up the oranges.
No.
He just puts the empty box back. And that was it. That was the whole video.
And that was the kind of announcement for, like Destiny said earlier, the director's cut of Death Stranding, which is coming to PlayStation 5. We didn't get any more information of that. We don't know what's coming in the director's cut. We don't know when it's coming, although that it's coming soon. But Darren, as somebody who really enjoyed Death Stranding, what do you want out of a director's cut? What are your hopes for it?
So, well, I hope that they add, it looks like they're going to be adding some new story to it, because he goes into the cargo area, and in Death Stranding, you never get to go see where your boxes are going. So now we get to finally see where the cargo is being stored. So I would like some new story, but at the same time, I want most of all a free upgrade to the PS5 version, because I am not going to spend I played that game for 80 hours. I am not going to spend another 80 hours replaying the whole game just to get to the new content.
Wait a minute, though. I think you need to tell people why you spent 80 hours playing this game. What did you like the most?
I love building roads, okay? Building roads made me feel special.
I just want people to know that. Okay. That's it. Okay, go
Those roads needed to be built.
So what do you think about a situation where you get like a reduced price? Would you pay like $20 depending on what the content is in the director's cut if you get that upgrade there, similar to what Final Fantasy is doing with Intergrade?
Yeah. If they did it like Final Fantasy Intergrade, where they're like, here, pay $25, you upgrade to the PS5 version, I'd be okay with that too. I just don't want to pay full price again. And I would want my save file to be transferred.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing we'll see more of that with whatever PlayStation's going to do this summer. Hopefully something soon.
I'm hoping like they add more to the shower scenes. Because you didn't ask me what I wanted. I want more shower scenes and maybe like 60% less walking. That's what I want.
I want some fast travel. That's what I would want in Death
Stranding. Okay, great. Because like I sat through the entire game. Okay, so I feel like it's important that you ask me what I want. So that's what I want. Okay.
I'm with you on more of Norman Reedus's Little Beavis, but
his Gluteus Maximus.
But if you give you some fast travel or some walking, the walking is the gameplay. That's the whole game.
Yeah, but they didn't show any of that in the director's cut. That's true. Looks like it's going to be a lot of sneaking around. Like, okay, so maybe he cut down on it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what more he's going to do to it, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Then coming to one of Destiny's favorite sections, we had Mr. Jeff Goldblum on screen talking about Jurassic World
Daddy.
Evolution 2, which is coming later this year. The game, whatever, but tell me about Goldblum, D. Why were we freaking out about Goldblum?
Oh my god, because he's just amazing. He's a national treasure. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. One of the things that I think is funny is he's always promoting the games, but like in the movie itself, he's like, why the fuck are we still making parks? Do you know what I mean? He's like, you saw
Yeah.
what happened in the second one, but like they just keep making games. I love it because you could tell he was reading off the like teleprompter,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
He
he
made it
like
very
he just seems
obvious.
like, yeah, he made it very like awkward on purpose, but it works. It works
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's him. So I just think it was awesome because he's from the movies, and the fact that like they got him on to announce this next movie was like very like a cohesive flow. It was very nice.
Yeah.
So Jeff, if you're watching this, I love you.
Call us.
Call us.
Yeah. Moving on, we went to Sable next, which is something that looks really pretty. We had a live performance. This is going to be coming out in September 23rd, 2021. It's like an open world desert exploration. The art style I thought looked really, really interesting. Darren, what did you think about Sable?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know that Destiny, I think you had some like misgivings, I guess, about the art style. You weren't like super
Just
into it.
a little bit. I just
Mhm.
thought the color palette was very bland. And since like
Yeah.
you're going to be in a desert, there's not much visually going on. But it also gave me like Journey vibes. But you see how
Mhm.
like beautiful Journey is, and you're basically just like sailing on the sand. So I just felt like they could have done a little more graphically and like artistically with the game
Well,
itself.
well,
That's
Yeah.
all.
what I liked about actually, Matt, first I'm curious, what did you think about it too? Like I know I think you were not super into the art style either.
I thought the art style was fine because like we did see like a little bit of color in towns and areas, certain areas, but I'm with D that like if the whole game is kind of centered around this desert, like it did look a little bit drab. The thing that I didn't really care for was the way that the character animated when they were running. Like it was very framey, and I think that's by design, but I personally don't care for how it looked. I think the game itself looks fun and I think it looks interesting, but there is a couple of things like about the art style and the way that it animates that I'm going to have to get over if I'm going to enjoy that game properly.
Yeah,
Can
I
I say
think you're both
something really quick?
okay.
Sorry, I was really surprised because I did notice like the running versus when the character was floating through the sky was absolutely different. So I don't know if they were just lagging because like when he was traveling through the sky, there wasn't any of that like frame rate drop.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm curious if they don't keep that consistent, that could be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're both
Darren?
crazy. I don't understand. I was like super. I was I was super into it. I think. Well, I think also it reminds me very much of the art style of a comic book that I really really like, Saga, and Saga has like a very similar, uh, like I want to say color palette. I think it does have a very similar color palette, although it is. I will say it is more colorful. Like you're going to a lot of different planets. We don't know if this is the only kind of place you visit. Maybe they will have some other colorful places. But I actually really liked
Hmm.
how like sporadic the movement was. It felt like you were in this kind of like comic book universe. I'm very very excited.
Well, if you're curious to see more from Sable, they did announce that they're going to be also part of the Tribeca Games Showcase, which is happening over the next few days. And it's coming September 23rd, so it is imminent. One of the next things that we saw that we kind of caught us off guard that looked beautiful was Lost Ark, which is an MMO made by Amazon, which is already out in Korea, but they have now announced that it's coming to the West
Yeah.
this fall. And Destiny, you were pretty stoked on Lost Ark. The thing
Um
that stood out to me was how much I couldn't get off the logo. Looked like Lost Tark. I
yeah.
can't unsee it. But the game looked really pretty. What did you think about this new MMO?
I'm super excited about it. I've been wanting to get my hands on a different MMO. Of course, you guys know we've talked about I tried Final Fantasy, and I just feel like that battle system is outdated. Like I just can't do it anymore.
Hmm.
So, seeing that this battle is like a lot more like action based and like freeing, I'm stoked. And the game looks beautiful. Like I knew as soon as I saw it that they were obviously working with like either a Japanese publishing house or um, well, a developer, a Japanese developer or a Korean developer, because the game has that aesthetic. It's just
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm just excited. I really want us all to try and play it because it looks beautiful, it looks fun, it looks action packed, and um, I think I saw it on a list of games that were supposed to be coming out, like a list of 20 MMOs that are coming out. The only thing I'm worried about is because that Amazon is the publisher. I'm wondering, like, one, is it going to be free to play? And then like you're going to have to pay a lot to like upgrade and things like that, or
Hmm.
are they actually going to just have you buy out the game and play monthly plus have things that you have to buy? Because I know a lot of games that come out of Korea are free to play,
Hmm.
but you don't have to buy things to enjoy the game itself. So I don't know how Amazon is going to do it, if it's going to follow the same kind of routine or not.
Yeah, I'm curious to see more of it. It is supposed to be coming out this fall, so I'm sure we'll see more in the next little while.
Eh,
The
eh,
next kind of thing that caught that we. Oh,
Wait,
sorry, Darren.
sorry.
Did you have
Before
any
I just want
Lost
to
Ark thoughts?
yeah, well, I was just going to confirm. I looked it up, and at least in Korea, it's free to play. So
Okay.
we'll see if
Okay.
it continues being free to play when it comes to North America.
Yeah, we will. The next kind of moment that we all enjoyed was Ryan Reynolds was on screen talking about Free Guy, which is his new movie coming out August 13th. In the movie, he's basically an NPC. He's an NPC that finds out he's in a game and he's trying to prevent the destruction of his game world. I think the movie looks like fun. I don't know about the overall quality, but Ryan Reynolds is enough to kind of get me a buy-in. Darren, what did you think about the bit that we saw from Free Guy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to watch it. Like Ryan Reynolds is a funny guy. I like Ryan Reynolds. I think he'll probably carry it just purely on his charisma.
Yeah, I agree. Destiny, what about you?
Okay, so I want to see the movie, but like when I saw the preview before, because I'd seen it before this, it basically reminds me of a live action, the Lego movie.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes,
a
that's
good
actually
comparison.
perfect.
Yeah, except they're in a game world and they're not in like a Lego world, right? Like
Yeah,
it's the same thing, almost the same exact thing. It's kind of weird, but I mean, I'm gonna watch it because Ryan Reynolds is hilarious, and it's about games, so why not?
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
and it
Yeah,
was
I think
and
it
yeah,
looks fun. We'll definitely talk about it.
and it's cool how like they had a bunch of streamers in it playing themselves to try and like
Yeah,
add some
I
realism to
Yes.
forgot
the
about
world.
that because I love Jacksepticeye. I was like, oh, and also, who's the guy who's the villain? Because he's amazing.
Taika Waititi.
Yes, so I think it's kind of cool to see him in it because he's actually really hilarious too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
he is. The next thing that kind of got me excited was we saw some more of Solar Ash, which is a PlayStation game coming out
Yes.
sometime in 2021, coming from Annapurna and Heart Machine. I think that the art style in this game looks so vibrant and cool, and I love me a good like fluid movement system, and that game's movement looks really really fluid. You had you on this like the back of this like massive Shadow of the Colossus style flying beast as you kind of like made your way across it, striking nodes and getting to the top to kind of take it down. This is one of my most anticipated indies this year. I think it looks beautiful. Destiny, what did you think of what we saw from Solar Ash?
Um, I pretty much think the same thing you do. That's It's not to like do a cop out, but I thought it was really beautiful. I don't know if I would be able to play it. I think I would watch somebody else play it.
Hmm.
Just I'm just keeping it real, y'all. I'm just keeping
Hmm.
it real. I think I'd watch somebody else play it before like I would jump into it and like put money into like getting it. But aesthetically, it's very pleasing.
Darren, what about your thoughts on Solar Ash?
Yeah, after seeing this trailer, I'm a lot more excited. I can't remember where it was shown off. And while you were talking, I will admit I zoned out a little bit, so I don't know if you said where we saw it. So it came from somewhere, and when we saw it, it was mostly a cinematic trailer.
We saw it. We saw it
Where
at
did it
last.
come from? It
We
came
saw
from
it.
somewhere.
We saw it at last E3. As I'm looking this
Last
up now.
Okay, last E3. Yeah, it was mostly just cinematic, so I wasn't really sure what kind of game it was actually going to be. And after seeing the gameplay, I am infinitely more excited for it because yeah, we haven't had like Shadow of the Colossus seems to be such an influential game, but like not a lot of games have actually been that openly influenced by it. So
Hmm.
I'm really excited to see a game that's trying to like use those kinds of climbing mechanics with this like big open world. The art style's beautiful. Annapurna, you make some or publish some great games.
Yeah. The next thing that we were found interesting was that we actually got a new publisher announcement, as Darren, you're just talking about publishing games, from Prime Matter. They had like 12 games that they showed off. Some of them look really, really cool. There's a new Painkiller game, which I guess is a cult classic franchise. Darren, what do you think about a new Painkiller game coming from a new publisher?
Yeah, I think that's super cool. I never played Painkiller, but I've heard like I like the kind of game that Painkiller is, and people who
Mhm.
have played it love it. So if they make a new one, I will probably play it. And just in general, it's kind of you don't really see publisher announcements, and I was interested because a lot of the games that they were showing off are games that have already come out. So I guess this publishers required the rights to some older games. I wonder if they're going to do something and turn them into franchises.
Yeah, I'm curious. Destiny, you liked a lot of what we saw there with some really, really interesting art styles there. What about the Prime Matter section jumped out at you?
I liked almost all of the games that they showed because, unlike you guys, I did not watch any of the stuff from E3 last year. So all of these titles were new to me, like which you guys noticed. Like I was like, "Ooh, this looks good," and you're like, "That came. They already showed that." But anyways, I was I was excited. I think a lot of their games look like really well done graphically, and you guys know that like that's a huge thing for me. So I just want to see what these games are going to be like when they actually come out. And I followed them on Twitter. You guys can follow them on Twitter as well. So you can keep out with this new publisher and seeing what they have to bring to the table.
Yep. I'm very curious to see more from them because as a new publisher, I'm sure we're going to get more and more from them as time goes on. The next thing that jumped out at us was Blood Hunt, which is part of the Vampire the Masquerade universe coming from Shark Mob. It's a multiplayer game coming sometime this year. Destiny, what did you think about Blood Hunt?
Bro, I'm excited. Like, can you tell? Like, I'm
You
so
just
excited.
Scared me. Oh my god.
Yeah. Pretty excited. One of the first things I noticed was like how diverse the characters were in the game. Not only are they diverse like with their skin tones, I saw an afro. I had to
Mhm.
tweet about the afro I saw. That is how excited I was. Do you know how like they're putting texture. They're putting like textured hair in games, and this is
Yeah.
amazing. I don't know,
Mhm.
you guys. You don't understand. You don't understand. So, anyways, I'm really, really excited about it. I can't wait to go in and make my own character. And I just love vampires. Like they're hot. Not the Twilight series hot. Like these look like gritty vampires, and some of
Yeah.
them look really creepy. So it sounds like the Vampire the Masquerade. They're pulling a lot of that, a lot of the different types of vampires, and putting them in this game. And it's just really cool to get like a digital form of something that I've always kind of been interested in. I've never done LARPing, and I never will, but
Mhm.
I'm glad I can like play a game and like play some of these vampires that I've read about.
Darren, what do you think about a multiplayer Vampire the Masquerade with lots of guns?
And for the record, I don't know if the implication
I'm
was
not saying LARPing's bad, and I know that's exactly where you were gonna go.
okay.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I need to make another clarification. I don't LARP, okay? LARPing is like live action. Like you organize an event and everybody like runs around in a field. And I also want
But
to
I
say
feel
that
like
that's not necessarily bad, but I don't do it.
Okay, but I feel like you could get into it if somebody asked you. Like I could see you LARPing.
I could do it if someone asked me to do it.
Yeah, it's
But
not a bad thing though, guys.
so it's very topical though, because I just said in the last podcast that I was getting into Vampire the Masquerade. So look, they just announced a new Vampire the Masquerade game. I think it's always fun to like see a tabletop game adapted into a video game, especially an action-oriented one. So like, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Multiplayer shooters are not really my thing, but like I'll
Not mine
check it out.
either. But it looked like they had other weapons,
Powers and
other
stuff
ways
too,
of fighting.
yeah.
It wasn't just guns. So
We need to see more.
I hope we
Yeah.
can all play.
That's the kind of thing that stood out to me is I wish that there weren't guns. Like it kind of like a vampire multiplayer game. Like I was kind of hoping something along the lines of like old school Assassin's Creed multiplayer where you might have to kind of like blend in with crowds more and do more to that kind of thing. So as soon as all the guns started shooting, I'm like, okay, this looks like another Overwatch but vampires. So I'm curious to see more from it, but it wasn't something that I was incredibly excited about. The next thing, though, that had all of us incredibly excited was a new game announcement called The Planet of Lana, which is coming to Xbox and PC in 2022. It is a hand painted adventure, and the art style looked gorgeous. This is honestly one of my favorite things that we saw from that showcase because it just looked beautiful. Destiny, how
Yeah.
stoked are you about a hand painted adventure?
I'm super stoked. I'm like an artist, so I love the fact that they like really showcase that they were able to bring in some traditional media as painting for the backgrounds and the characters. Not only that, I can tell that the characters they get some influence from like Ghibli, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
love all the little Ghibli characters. And like in the video, the first thing they showed was like this little black cat looking creature, and I just fell in love immediately. So I'm excited from an artist perspective, and I'm also excited from like a game player perspective. I just want to see what this game is going to be about.
Darren, what about you?
It's yeah. I don't know why it took me so long to come up with a reaction because I think the game's beautiful. I'm very excited for it. I just got thrown off. Um, it's good. Like I'm back to you, Matt.
All right, the game looks beautiful. It's coming in 2022. We'll hopefully see more of some gameplay in the future. The next thing that had us excited, we got a little bit of Far Cry 6, but not in terms of gameplay. We actually got to see Giancarlo Esposito on screen talking about his influences and how he felt about the character that he's playing in the game. And something that I really liked was that, Jeff started talking about how him as a villain, and Giancarlo was very quick to be like, sure, he's a villain, but these are all the reasons why I don't think he's a villain. And Destiny, you're a big Giancarlo Esposito fan. How did it feel seeing him on screen?
He's second daddy. So just throwing that out there. Um, he's an amazing actor. And I love the fact that like he's able to play like himself. Like it's not him, but like they visually have taken him and put him in a game and put him in a game because he holds such a presence and he still has that kind of aura in the video game when you see him. Like, when you see him, some shit is about to go down. Like that's just who he is. And I did like the fact that he stopped him and was like, look, like I get it. Everybody thinks I'm a great villain, but like this guy to me, he's not just a villain. He really cares about his country and he's doing it for the love of his country. And I think that's really important that he put that out there so that people don't just like look at him as a one-dimensional actor and character in the game. Like he has dimensions, like layers to it. And just overall, I think it's great that we're bringing in more actors, like amazing actors, to play these characters and give the world a little more depth with their talent. So.
I agree. The next really cool thing was we got a new studio announcement, actually. Deviation Games is made up of a bunch of ex-Call of Duty developers, and they are working on a brand new IP in a PlayStation partnership. So we're going to be getting some sort of new game from ex-Call of Duty developers. Darren, what do you want to see out of that studio? Because I feel like there's a bit of a glaring hole in PlayStation's first-party lineup, and it seems to be they're trying to make up for this. What do you want to see out of them?
Well, I don't want to see a shooter out of them, but that's exactly what they're going to make probably. I mean, what else could they make? It's Treyarch. They or former Treyarch members. Sony seems to have funded them specifically, as you were so intelligently implying, that they're probably going to make a first-person shooter because Sony doesn't have really any truly successful modern first-person shooters that are exclusive to them. So what I want out of them is not that, but I mean that's what Sony wants out of them probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of multiplayer shooter out of them. I mean, that's what they're known for. So I'm that's kind of what I'm anticipating. We didn't get any official announcements or anything. It's far too early in the process, but look forward to more from Deviation Games in the future. Just a very quick call out. Jeff announced that there's going to be a new ID at Xbox event starting on Tuesday. So you're going to be able to play a whole bunch of free demos and try out a bunch of stuff. I think this is a super awesome initiative, giving indie games that spotlight to kind of let people try them before you got to check them out entirely. We do know for sure Tunic, which is an adorable little very old school Legend of Zelda feeling game, and Sable, which we previously talked about, will both be part of that event. And as we've talked about in a bunch of our E3 footage, any games that you see there that are also on Steam or anywhere that you can wish list. It makes a big difference for the developers. The next thing that had Darren very excited was we got an Evil Dead game announcement back at the Game Awards in December, and we actually saw some footage from the game. Now, it wasn't clear to me what exactly the game is. It seems like it's like Left 4 Dead, but also Dead by Daylight. Like, there's a lot going on in that game. Darren, what did you think of Evil Dead the game?
Yeah. So like I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. I love the movies. I love Evil Dead. So I was very excited to get like an Evil Dead game. I'm cautiously optimistic. These kinds of movie tie-in games don't normally work out, but I'm hopeful because it's not like an immediate movie tie-in. But yeah, it's like a hack and slash like brawler, but like third person. There's some shooting. It's an asymmetric multiplayer game essentially. One person plays the Deadite demon, and like who's possessing a bunch of different like lesser Deadites, and then there's like four people that are also playing like characters from the Evil Dead universe. And so like like Dead by Daylight, you have to complete objectives around the map to charge up like objective in the center and like send the Deadites back to where they came from. So like, and they've got like one of the medieval people from Army of Darkness as a playable character. So I'm hoping that they lean into the weirder elements of the Evil Dead franchise, and maybe we get some like levels in that area too, because right now it kind of just looked like the levels were all just different variations of forest. So like I'm excited, but I'm holding some hope.
Destiny, did the Evil Dead game do anything for you?
No, but I love Army of Darkness. The only thing I really liked about it is that he kept like telling you you're a dick. If you do this and you do this in a game, you're a dick. So I was like, it's a really funny, like, kind of trailer. So hopefully they do bring in some of the weirder, like, more comedic aspects of the movie franchise into the game.
Yeah, I have no feelings about it, but I guess we'll see more. It did say 2021, so it's supposed to be coming out this year. So get ready for more information as time goes on. And the closer, the big game that they finally ended things with, Sonic Unleashed 2. More werehog, more action. No, in all actuality, Elden Ring from Software. Miyazaki working with George R.R. Martin, George Railroad Martin. The open world FromSoft game was
that's what the RR stands for.
Shown
Railroad.
It was finally shown off. We got a teaser a few years ago, and now we actually saw gameplay. And as anybody who listens to the podcast knows, I am not a FromSoft guy. Destiny is not a FromSoft gal, but Darren is really, really excited. So I'm going to throw to Destiny first. Destiny, What did Elden Ring do for you?
It was kind of meh. You know, like, I didn't think the graphics were that good. And for people to be, like, super excited that this game was out, I just feel like it was very anticlimactic. Like, because, like, even, like, the host was like, and now, but what you've been waiting for. Da-da-da-da. And then it showed, like, a game that had, like, I don't know, PS3 graphics. It wasn't that great. It just didn't seem that great. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. Like the trailer really didn't do anything for me either, outside of like the unreal hype that's building into this game and has been for years. I'm not a big FromSoft guy. I thought there were points it did look beautiful. Like there was a point where there was like a spirit horse like dancing around the sky or some shit. Like there were points that it looked good, but like technically FromSoft has never been the industry leader. An open world game, I wonder what we're going to see out of it. I wonder if we're going to have difficulty modes. I wonder how the combat's going to translate into an open world along with like traversal and stuff. The thing that I did think looked interesting, there was a point where like you're riding a horse and it does this like massive super horse jump up atop of like this cliff. So I'm hoping that the movement is a little more fluid, because that's one of my main problems with any FromSoft game is usually the movement for me isn't very fun. But Darren, we have talked long enough. I am now going to open the show for you for the next 45 minutes. Let's please listen to you talk about Elden Ring.
Thank you, Matt. I'd like to thank the Academy for presenting. Yeah, I It's okay. I forgive you both for being so incredibly wrong. I've never heard such heresy in my life. You just
Oh, so
don't
you're saying the graphics
understand.
look really good? You're saying the
I
graphics are really good in the game?
I
Huh?
think
Huh?
I
Is that
think
Let him
I
be. Let him
think
see.
okay,
We
okay.
shit on it. Let him
Okay.
go.
Okay. No, okay. FromSoft is really, really, really good at making absolutely beautiful architecture. But when it comes to character models and enemy models, they're usually not the most technically impressive. I will admit that. And I think
Mhm.
that's why Bloodborne's the most beautiful game that they've made, because it's 90% Victorian architecture. And I think that game really shows where their art style works best. But because this seems like
Mhm.
it's a more open world thing, it's not as visually impressive. But what is so got me so excited is this looks like the most open, expansive, in-depth FromSoft game that we've ever received. The world looked large, it looked dense, the locations looked very, very interesting, very varied. I was confused at one point. I thought I saw Anor Londo. I'm like, is this connected to Dark Souls in
yeah.
some way? I don't think it is. I think FromSoft is just kind of copy pasting their own work and plagiarizing themselves is what they're really doing. Um, but um, I'm just very, very excited. And I will say, Matt, Sekiro had very fluid combat. The movement in that game was super fluid. It looks like this is kind of taking everything they've learned. The combat looked like it had some more fluid movement from Sekiro mixed in with more open world that they've never done before, but with some more of the
Mhm.
Dark Souls style magic. I I cannot contain how happy I am finally seeing that this game is coming out January 21st, 2022. I will be getting it
Yep.
day one on PS4
It's
and
coming.
PS5.
Oh, I'm
You're gonna buy both
surprised. You're
copies?
gonna get it like right when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get both copies, but I'm gonna get it right when it comes out because I've actually never played a FromSoft game right when it came out. I've always been late to the party, which means I usually miss out on the multiplayer community that forms around trying to solve the game right at the start. I want to be part of that
Mhm.
unknownness. I want to be playing the game when nobody knows anything about it because the biggest
Yep.
like benefit of playing these games early is solving the mystery. The game's always been a huge mystery. I've talked enough. I
Well,
apologize.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you, Darren. And
Same.
knowing me, as the game gets closer, I'll buy it and then regret it after about 10 hours. But we'll see. Elden Ring is real. It's coming, like Darren said, January 21st, 2022, which means it's only about 6 months away. So get hyped and get hyped for more Burnout content. This was our first Big Summer Game Fest / E3 show. So look forward to more posters coming from us as things happen over the weekend and into next week. We'll have much more coverage for you guys, much more content, indie developer stuff, game previews, a whole lot going on. So like, subscribe, share, keep it locked here because we have a lot more coming very, very soon. For Team Burnout, for Darren, for Destiny, and for
Wait,
Destiny.
Darren has a Twitter now, guys.
Yeah! The biggest news of the day.
I have a Twitter now.
Darren, what's your Twitter?
What's your Twitter, Darren?
If you want to reach me, you can hit me up at burnout_Darren, and I will respond. I'm a real human being. A real
I can
human
finally
being.
stop using hashtag Darren needs Twitter because he actually has Twitter now. Destiny and I are very, very proud.
This is an
Our-
emotional moment for me.
Our little boy's growing up.
I know. What can I say?
Keep it
I'm here
locked,
to
guys. We
impress.
have much more coming for you very, very soon. We love you all very much. Thank you for the support. We'll see you guys at the next post show.
Burnout out.
Later.